Hello students, today we will start with a new lesson in science, that is human body and organ system. This is lesson number 7. In this system we will be studying about the various organ systems like digestive, respiratory, blood circulation and all. And also that in that we will study about the other human body parts also. First we'll study about the internal and external respiration. Energy is essential to operate all life processes in human body. Energy production occurs within the cells. Now, as we all know, the basic unit of life is cell, and for that we need energy also. So these cells supply energy for the body. Cells need the supply of soluble nutrients and oxygen for this purpose. This supply takes place with the help of respiratory and circulatory system. Respiration is carried out in the following three steps. Till now we have studied what does respiration means. That is inhalation and exhalation is called as respiration. But as we grow up we have to study in depth about the respiration. Now respiration is divided into three steps. The first is the internal respiration. The second is the first is external, the second is internal, and the third is cellular respiration. Now in internal respiration, it is subdivided into two parts, that is inspiration or also called as inhalation, and the second part is expiration or also called as exhalation. Now what does inspiration mean? Inspiration is nothing but the air that we take in through the nose is sent towards the lungs through trachea. This process is called as inhalation, or in simpler words we can say the air that we take in is also called as inhalation. And what is exhalation? Oxygen from the inspired air goes into the blood. Blood carries the CO2, that is carbon dioxide, from various parts of the body towards the lungs. This air is given out by exhalation. That means the air that is given out is also called as exhalation. Both of these processes occurring with the help of lungs are collectively called external respiration. That means when inhalation and exhalation together takes part, with the help of lungs, it is called as external respiration. Now let us study about the internal respiration. Exchange of gases between cells and tissue fluid is called as internal respiration. That means whatever changes that are taking place within the cell and tissue is called as internal. Internal changes are called as internal respiration. Oxygen moves from blood into tissues fluid and carbon dioxide moves from tissue fluid into blood. Now the third step is cellular respiration. Dissolved nutrients like glucose are slowly burnt with the help of oxygen and energy is released in the form of ATP. Now whatever oxygen is there, uh, whatever nutrients like glucose are there which are oxidized with the help of oxygen, that gives out carbon dioxide and water. Also it gives us energy, and the whole cellular respiration can be summarized as 6CH12O6, which is the formula for glucose, plus 6O2, which will give out 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus energy, that is in the form of ATP, and those are 38 ATPs. The next part is about respiratory system. We are having, see in the slide you can see before respiratory the inhalation and exhalation. What is the difference between inhalation? Just observe the diaphragm in both the cases and you will understand what happens. In one case it is contracted and the other case it relaxes. Now we study about the respiratory system. Now respiratory system includes various parts like the nose, pharynx, windpipe, lungs, the diaphragm, and we will also study with the same respiratory system, we'll study the structure and function, how and where it is located. Respiratory system first starts with the nose. As we all know, respiration means taking in of the air, which starts from the nose. Air is filtered with the help of hair and mucus present in the nose. Now, see, we are having hair and mucus, which we do not like, but it is very helpful because it acts as a filtration. Whatever we inhale, whatever things that are not required, are stuck into the mucus and the hair, and that's how only mostly the purified air goes into the nose. till the lungs. Second part is the pharynx. Food pipe and windpipe originate in pharynx. In pharynx, you are having two pipes. One is food and the other is windpipe. Windpipe is present in front of the food pipe. There is a lid at the beginning of the windpipe. This lid closes the windpipe during passing of food into food pipe and thereby normally prevents the entry of food particles into the windpipe. So if the windpipe was not closed while eating food, there were chances of getting choked. The food could have entered the windpipe and the choking could be done. So to avoid that, nature has made its own changes according to the requirement, and that's how the lid of the windpipe gets closest when we gulp the food. Otherwise, windpipe remains open. Hence, air passes through pharynx into windpipe. The next part is the windpipe. Windpipe is swollen at the beginning due to the sound box. Windpipe bifurcates in the thorax. One branch enters the right and the other into left lung. The fourth organ are the lungs. A lung is present on either sides of the heart in thoracic cavity. Maximum area of the thoracic cavity is occupied by lungs and they cover the maximum part of heart. Each lung has double layered covering. Children, you can see the figure. It's a double layered covering. It is also called as pleura. Lungs are elastic like sponge. Lungs are made up of many small compartments called alveoli. Rich network of capillaries is present around each alveolus. Wall of alveoli and capillaries are extremely thin, because of which gaseous exchange can easily take place across the thin walls, and that is why those are very thin. The walls of alveoli are thin. As large number of alveoli is present in lungs, larger surface is available for gaseous exchange. So children, what I have studied here, where is the lung present? It is placed in the heart, on either sides of the heart in thoracic cavity, and maximum area of the thoracic cavity is occupied by the lungs. Now let us study the exchange of gases in lungs. Gaseous exchange occurs continuously while blood is circulating around the alveoli. An iron-containing protein, hemoglobin, is present in the RBCs of blood. Hemoglobin absorbs the oxygen from air within alveoli. Simultaneously, carbon dioxide and water vapor move from blood into the alveoli. Thus, oxygen is taken into the blood and carbon dioxide and water vapors are removed from the blood and given out by exhalation. The next we'll study about the diaphragm. Now, what is a diaphragm? In the earlier picture, we would have seen where is the diaphragm located. See, the last labeling is of the diaphragm. So where is diaphragm located? It is just below the lungs. A muscular partition is present at the base of thoracic cage. This partition is called the diaphragm. So children, the partition is called as the diaphragm. It is present between the thoracic cavity and the abdominal cavity. Simultaneous rising up of ribs and lowering of diaphragm causes the decrease in pressure on the lungs. Due to this, air moves into the lungs through nose. When ribs return to the original position and diaphragm rises up, pressure on the lungs increases. Due to this, air moves out through nose. Continuous upward and downward movement of diaphragm is necessary to bring about breathing. So what have you understood here in diaphragm? It helps in the rising up it helps in the lowering and rising up of the diaphragm. It helps in the pressure, decreasing the pressure and increasing the pressure, and togetherly it helps in continuous upward and down movement of diaphragm is necessary for breathing. The next part we'll see about the circulatory system. This is the second system that we're studying. The first one was the respiratory and the second one is now blood circulatory system. Circulatory system performs the function of transport of various substances like water, hormones, oxygen, soluble nutrients and waste materials through different organs. An independent system for blood circulation is present in humans and higher animals. It consists of heart, blood vessels and capillaries. So into the blood circulatory system, we'll be studying about the heart, the blood vessels and the capillaries. Let us study something about the heart. Heart is present almost at the center in the thoracic cage. It is present behind the ribs between the lungs and slightly inclined on the left side. So where is it present? It is in the thoracic cage. It is behind the ribs between the two lungs and slightly towards the left side. Size of a heart is equal to one's own fist and its weight is about 360 gram. So if you make a fist in your hand, the size of your fist is equal to your heart and the weight is almost 360 grams. It is covered by a double-layered peritoneal membrane. A fluid is present between two membranes due to which heart is protected from friction and mechanical shocks. This fluid is very important. Human heart is muscular organ. It is made up of involuntary cardiac muscles. Remember, it is made up of involuntary cardiac muscles. This question can come as fill in the blanks. Human heart is made up of dash muscles. The answer is involuntary cardiac muscles. They contract and relax while with a definite rhythm. This is called beating of heart. If you keep a hand on your chest and listen to the heartbeats, you will find a rhythm into it. And that is called as rhythm, beating of the heart, which is rhythmic. Internally, heart is divided into left and right compartments by a vertical partition. Each of those compartments is again divided into two chambers. Thus, in all, heart consists of four chambers. See children, you can see the first, the second, the third and the fourth chamber. Thus, in all, heart consists of four chambers. Upper chambers are called as atria. You can see the labeling also. This is the right atrium, this is the left atrium, and the lower chambers are called as ventricle, the right ventricle and the left ventricle. The blue ink will tell you that the blood is pure, whereas the red will indicate the pure blood, whereas the blue will indicate you the impure blood. The heart will pump out the pure blood, whereas the blood which comes to the heart will be impure one. Now let us study about the blood vessels, its structure and functions. Heart is beating continuously. Due to this, blood continuously circulates through blood vessels. There are two types of blood vessels. The one is artery and next is vein. We will first study the features of arteries. Blood vessels which carry the blood away from the heart are called arteries. That means the blood which is taken away from the heart is called as artery. Except the one carrying blood towards lung, all carry oxygenated blood. The blood which is supplied from the heart is always the oxygenated blood and that is why it is indicated in red color. Now these arteries are deeply situated in the body and they are also having thick walls. These vessels do not have valves. Let us study about the veins now. Veins carry the blood towards the heart from various parts of the body are called as veins. So the impure blood which is throughout the body is brought to the heart with the help of veins. All veins except the one carrying blood through from lungs transport deoxygenated blood. Most of the veins are superficially located in the body. Their walls are thin and these are provided with valves. The major differences: arteries will carry oxygenated blood, veins will carry deoxygenated blood. Arteries are deeply situated, veins are artificially situated. Arteries do not have valves, whereas veins have valves. Now let us study about the capillaries. Arteries gradually branch out with decrease in their diameter as they spread in the body with finally form fine hair-like vessels called as capillaries. Walls of capillary are extremely thin and made up of single layer of cells. Due to this, now these cells of the wall of the capillary is thin and is made up of single layer, because of which exchange of materials between the capillaries and cell becomes easy. During the exchange, the oxygen, nutrients, hormones, vitamins, etc. are sent towards the cell and waste materials of the cells move into blood. Capillaries unite together to form vessels of more diameter called as veins. So capillaries finally become vein. Capillary network is present in each organ. So till now, children, we have studied the two systems. One is respiratory and the other is blood circulatory. The remaining part we will study in the next video.